Boom! I just finished my law school essay. Submitted it. I hope I get accepted. Did you watch The Last Republican with us last night? Nope. But I did watch it. We had a DGG event somewhere, and we watched it in the theater together. So wait, did you guys all watch? It's a really good movie, right? It was a really well done movie. I love the synergy between, I'm pretty sure it was like a libtard director and Adam. Adam's story about the night. Oh, sorry, I was in another Google Meet. Hold on. Okay, hello. The Adam's story about the woman that was getting attacked by the dude with a knife. That was crazy. What the? It's really good. F***ing depressing though. It is, but like, there's such like a masculine, like, integrity driven, like to see him go through with that, seeing all the pushback he was getting, watching them like pack up office at the end, knowing that he had this dream of like working in politics, watching him and is he even 40? How old is this guy? He might be. But he's, okay, 47. I will compare that mostly, but this is a young guy, okay? Young guy politically speaking, right? Probably, I imagine, a brightish future ahead of him. Just to watch him like burn down everything, to have some integrity, to be on that J6 committee, it's just like, it's such a good debate. Oh my God. Or not a debate, sorry. I just read the Muhammad Hijab debate. It's such a good movie. I super appreciate his story. Wow. Yeah. What was he talking about? There's a movie called The Last Republican. And just follows this guy's story. I know, he's just super, I can't believe I feel like if there are certain stories that if I had them, I would tell this story forever. And the fact that this guy like autopiloted fighting off the assailant with a knife that was trying to kill that woman, and it's all on camera, so it's not even like oh yeah, okay, yeah, was it a real knife or was it like a little itty bitty butter knife? And it's all on camera. It's like he's such an awesome person. I have so much respect for this guy. Oh my God, yeah. What do you think of his opinion in the film that the 10 Republicans who voted to impeach had a good chance of flipping the Republican Party against MAGA? Sounds like hardcore coping to me. No, I think I agree. You only need a few people to get a thing started, but they couldn't get them, yeah. Unfortunately. Do you think Kevin McCarthy feels like absolute shit after how much he spread his ass cheeks for Trump and ended up getting fucked over? I hope he does. I hope he feels fucking horrible. McCarthy is just, it's just so funny getting MAGA, also like MAGA stuff through my parents, because they loved him so much. And then I think it was on stream, I think I asked my mom, and I think my dad too, I was like, what do you guys think about McCarthy? And didn't she say like, oh, McCarthy? Ooh, we don't like him. And I'm like, you guys loved this dude like 2 months ago. This guy was like your hero. Jesus. The fuck is this? Another driver update. Oh no. Why the fuck is the movie's rating so low? Wait, is it? Oh, I mean, it's a hardcore political movie, so. And actually, there's reason for everybody to hate this, because lefty cucks hate it because it's a conservative, and people who are MAGA hate it because they're in a cult. What do the reviews say? This is a good, I almost cried. I didn't because I'm not a pussy ass bitch, okay? But I almost did. And his, just watching them like packing up and everything at the end, and his conversations with the director they're so good. They're so cute. They're so authentic. I highly, highly, highly recommend this, okay? Super recommend this. I wonder if we can watch it on Kick tonight. Shh, we won't say anything, okay? This guy kept emailing me, and he was like, I got a friend that works in TV stuff, and he can give you advice on your shit. And I'm like, I put this off for a long time. I'm like, and I set up that meeting this morning. I'm like, okay, how about your your friend can give me some video stuff advice, so I get another one of these fucking lunatics. Not lunatics, but just these random people that don't. It's just whatever. And this guy knew so much shit. I got so much good information. Oh my god. He also recommended a device too. Give examples of the information you got. It's gonna be stuff that none of you guys give a fuck about. Like, I didn't know this. One of the things I've complained about is the file size on all the cameras, and I haven't been able to upload shit, so you're getting stuff directly. It's just like annoying. But I didn't know that this ISO in my switcher that I bought, ISO stands for like, it's like independent stream something, or independent signal something. But I can actually record with a drive directly connected to this, every single camera feed independently on a drive, just on one connection, without having to do it on every single. That's super nice. Holy shit. I didn't know that. That was amazing. And he recommended me a really good thing that he says they use for a broadcast. Just a really simple bonded. This can do up to, I think it's 2 eSIMs and 4 physical SIMs, maybe, or 3 physical SIMs and 2 eSIMs, and then I can bond 4 down and 2 up. This thing. I don't know if I would get it or not. Yeah, and then he recommended me a thing for uploading data onto the internet and everything, yeah. But anyway, that was a cool guy. That's my tech stuff for the day. There you go. Do you need to run a server on the other side to accept the bonding stuff? No, it's just, it bonds your thing together for one internet connection. I have to be careful, like, technically as talent at events, I don't think anybody's ever, like, you're not usually talent and AV at the same time, like setting all the audiovisual stuff up, because usually you're doing other things. But I enjoy it. It's like, as a hobby, like, it's fun to invest time and everything, looking into everything. So I enjoy it. But it does become kind of time consuming. At the Yale event, they were looking at some of my past events and they asked me to do the video for the Yale event that I'm going to too. You have 40 days left to apply for me. Yeah, I think it's December 16th, I think. And then, why did the Mohammed Hijab guy get footage from Oxford for you? He didn't get footage. They recorded it on their own. What Yale event? I think in a month I go to Yale and do stuff. What I think it's like a debate with it might be with the student club. I'm not sure. Why did you send me call out Tim Miller from the Bulwark about Hasan? Fuck, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have. Was he on stage with him one of the times or not? I know that he was part of that event, but if he wasn't on stage, I shouldn't have tagged him in it. It is annoying, though, to listen to this motherfucking terrorist-supporting piece of shit. He was on stage? Okay, yeah. It's annoying listening to this fucking... I'm talking about Hasan, not Tim Miller right now. Tim Miller, I think, is super cool, and I love that guy. It's really annoying listening to this fucking moron going on stage and talking about, oh, I've been talking for so long about how bad the Republicans are for immigration. Blah, blah. Bullshit, motherfucker. God, you're such a snake fuck, chameleon, disgusting, subhuman piece of shit. Like, you said both were going to be the same the whole fucking time, dude. Second post on your sub.
Harris defeat is that, like, I rang the alarm bells over and over again. Yeah, what's funny about the Kamala Harris defeat is that, like, I rang the alarm bells over and over again and people would yell at me, and then still there is this contingency online of people who are just like drama focused and deeply unserious.
Drama focused and deeply unserious. as he claims that every person that criticizes him is racist and Islamophobic, despite the fact that he's a white, secular American. And then drama focus, despite the fact that this guy is platforming bad up and out to dox people and reading down and calling me sex pestiny, Epsteiny, divorcediny, molestiny.
That are basically trying to move what remains of their increasingly smaller sliver of an audience in the direction of angst and animosity against me individually. And they just keep saying over and over again, like, I was responsible for her defeat.
I never said that he's responsible. But he was definitely a part of it, for sure.
And it's so fucking stupid because most liberals, most normie liberals don't see it like that at all.
Okay.
So it's become this weird thing that if you're on Reddit too much.
Hey, saw Mohammed Hijab post your debate on Oxford. Please tell me you upload your version or Oxford. Oxford has their own recorded version, but he also recorded his own version. So I don't know if Oxford will probably post theirs soon, I think.
If you watch Sex Pestiny, if you watch Ethan Klein.
Good one, dude.
Right?
Very serious. Very serious.
If you watch those guys, you literally think like, oh yeah, no, this is right. He did actually cost the election. Because that's all you're getting that's the avenues that you're getting your information from. But their fucking parents, like their grandparents, the Barbers and the Debras do not feel that way because when they hear my commentary, they go, no, that actually does make sense. Why didn't the Democrats do this?
Do what? Nominate Bernie Sanders? Listen to the non-committed movement that you were literally marching with right outside the DNC, who wanted them to take a maximalist position on Israel-Gaza, even though it was like the 20th most important issue to voters?
And it's very strange that, the more online you are, the more online brain poisoned you are, and the more you get your information from these like deeply unserious places that are simply using...
That unserious thing is a projection, by the way, because he knows his own shortcomings. I don't just mean the melanin in his facial hair. I mean, like, he knows that he will never be the intellectual commentator that he wishes he could be. World-changing political events, specifically the drive home whatever kind of personal animosity they have towards a content creator that they despise. Like they have their own personal agendas is what I mean. And a lot of people cannot shake themselves out of that stupor, and it frustrates me to no end. That feel when all of my criticism about Hasan has to do with his political stances, commentary, and his refusal to support the Democratic Party, and all of his criticisms of me have to do with whatever Blav posted last in my Kiwi Farms thread, but I'm the one with the personal agenda? Well, I guess the dog thing is technically not politically oriented. I saw this. I thought it would be longer before Mamdani would fucking capitulate. I am pretty disappointed that I'm probably not going to New York City now.
Question for you is, in your time as mayor, are you planning on providing bisexual girlfriends to everyone in New York City?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How do you stay calm when people like Mohammed Hijab start the personal insult? Well, I've heard these things a million times before. I don't have anything to say against him, so I'm just gonna have to high road the whole convo and hope that he looks bad, I guess. But I was surprised, actually. Quite a few of his Muslim fans, well, I'm assuming they're his Muslim fans. Well, they came up to me and they said they were Muslim. So I'm assuming they were his fans. Told me that they thought that his behavior was a little bit reprehensible. So, I'll take it. Didn't you have a conversation with him before? With Mohammed Hijab? Yeah, I did a little bit, but it was really fucking awkward because he kept making jokes about like sucking my dick. He kept asking me beforehand, like, oh, can I please fucking get on my knees and pray 5 times to your throbbing American dick? And can I please have sex with you? And I was like, dude, it's fucking weird. So we didn't talk too much after all of his sexual overtures. And then we did maybe that's why he personally insulted me so much, because I turned him down. Not good.
Done.
What do you think it means that this guy ran as a socialist and anti-communism didn't work to stop him? Yeah, I think we are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated the USSR, unfortunately. And the reality of the matter is, there's a lot of antagonism. There's no class consciousness in the United States of America. It's one of the things that I try to address every day with my commentary. And I will say this, the conditions have deteriorated so much that everyday Americans, in spite of their lack of class consciousness in the United States of America, is one of the things that I try to address every day with my commentary. And I will say this, the conditions have deteriorated so much that I think we are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated the USSR, unfortunately. And the reality of the matter is, there's a lot of antagonism. There's no class consciousness in the United States of America. It's one of the things I try to address every day with my commentary. And I will say this, the conditions have deteriorated so much that everyday Americans, in spite of their lack of class consciousness, are finally arriving at the conclusion that perhaps there is an alternative out there. There is an alternative that focuses on them, as opposed to the interests of the billionaires and the millionaires, as opposed to the interests of the capital owners. And I mean, you can't help but notice that. You can't help but feel at least a little bit of excitement around that.
And also the significance.
Done.
What do you think it means that?
Have you watched Rob Noy's meltdown after the election? No. Why, what do you want me to say? It's cringe. Good thing, I guess, the Soviet Union never did imperialism. What is this fucking retarded? Is it bad to be satisfied at what's happening to Ben Shapiro? Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. That is wait, what is the joke about like leopards ate my face? Is it, I don't even know what that means. I know what the expression means, but what is it supposed to be a metaphor of? Is it like you're feeding a leper and then it eats your face after you feed it? Or is it that you're running around having fun with leopards and then they eat your face as you're I understand the thing is that you're feeding into a situation that's going to be self-destructive or whatever, but what is it actually? It's literal? It's people voting for the leopards eating my face party. A leopard would never eat my, oh. Is that what it is? Is that it's from a comic. OG meme. Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen the original comic. Hold on. I never thought leopards would eat my face, sobs a woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. Is this where it comes from? Okay. Gotcha. Destiny, do you disavow your baldy Chingy Chongus GF saying slurs while wearing a bad weave? No, I want to protect everybody, including my future waifu's abilities to slur and attack everybody. It's the most important freedom that I have, okay? It's like a, what did you expect, you fucked around? No, I understand what the metaphor means. I'm just not sure where it came from, but I guess it comes from this. Okay, makes sense. I hate to admit it, but it is immensely satisfying for me to see Ben Shapiro, Ted Cruz, Randy Fine, and the rest of these types be cannibalized by gripers. I feel kind of bad because, for the most part, I think the people attacking them are far worse than they ever were. But it's basically a hell of their own making. Ben Shapiro spent the better part of a decade advocating for bigotry against women, gays, black people, immigrants, Muslims, you name it, and now acts shocked and appalled that someone like Fuentes is gaining ground in his movement. Randy Fine said, with no sense of irony in the same speech, that Mamdani should be jailed and or deported, and that he was shocked and disgusted by Fuentes. Seriously? Did he actually? I don't think I've seen much of this Randy Fine guy talk. That would be funny if he said that, though. Every single person who says that anything about like Mamdani being deported should be exiled from the United States, I think. Fuck them. Oh my God. Also, I had an idea. I had a dream, but this will never happen. But it really, like realistically, it actually super would be the coolest. It would be such a cool idea. Okay. Come with me here. Okay. Everything. All right. First of all, next election season, Democrat president gets in. We add a new constitution to or a new amendment to the Constitution, whatever we have to do to basically bring back Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, the insurrection clause, okay? Number one, okay? Number two, all right? We create some kind of committee, or we somehow try, either before the Supreme Court or some kind of commissioned court, on public TV, a massive trial against like the insurrectionist movement of MAGA. So they can name like 5 or 10 key representatives, defendants or whatever. And then the members of Congress or whatever could name their key, 5 or 10 plaintiffs that would be on their board. And there would basically be a giant televised trial that would happen for 2 weeks that every fucking American should be watching. And then at the end of those 2 weeks, there should be a public referendum in the United States to acquit or convict that needs like a 55% margin to pass or whatever for everybody involved. I think that would be fucking keno. So you have everybody in the U.S. is watching. Everybody in the U.S. is aware of what's going on. All of the evidence is fairly presented in a formal arena, not screeching on InfoWars or Fox News or some autistic shit. I think that should happen. All right. And then if they get acquitted, then I leave. I go somewhere else. Okay. You should look into Nuremberg. It was kind of a huge failure. Wait, was it? I thought most people said Nuremberg to be pretty good. No?
Randy Fine, he's questioning his legal...
Oh, Newsmax. This totally fake, ridiculous news network that is somehow real as fuck now and is endorsed by the President of the United States.
Randy Fine, he's questioning his legal status and is urging the government to look into everyone who became a citizen over the last 30 years, starting with Zohran Mamdani.
Now, the congressman tells the New York Post, quote, I just think we need to take a hard look at how these folks became citizens, and if there is any fraud or violation of the rules, we need to denaturalize and deport. I know that there's a lot of us that are very, very concerned about the enemy within, people who have come to this country to become citizens, to destroy it. And joining us now for more on this, Florida Republican Congressman Randy Fine. Congressman Fine, thank you so much for being with us here. Again, you're in Florida. We're here.
It's funny that you call it the Truth and Reconciliation Project because in my country, after we ousted a 25-year dictator, we formed a commission called exactly the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. I've heard a few people say that this isn't like the most uncommon thing ever. Also, was this for South Africa or this is a good thing. People were saying for Nuremberg, somebody said in chat only 12 people were executed. I feel like the important thing about Nuremberg, without actually having it studied it formally, but just my very layman's takeaway feeling is that the nice thing about Nuremberg is we just got the information out there in a formal way. We just need the information needs to be out there presented in a fair and formal way. That's the important part, I think. And then presented to the public. We need a clean record, yeah.
New York City, where the rise of Mamdani is nearly impossible to ignore. But you say even from the South, this is something that needs to be looked into. I understand exactly why you said that. But what makes you think he may not be a citizen?
Well, look, the barbarians are no longer at the gate. They're inside. And I think
True.
Democrats got us so focused on illegal
Oh, wait. He's talking about different barbarians, though.
immigration. We weren't looking at all of the people who are coming here who do not focus on illegal immigrants at the gate. They're inside. And I think Democrats got us so focused on illegal immigration, we weren't looking at all of the people who are coming here who do not share our values, who do not want to integrate into our society and do not want to assimilate. And Mamdani, having just moved here 8 years ago, is a great example of that, become a citizen. Look, it is clear with much of what I have read that he did not meet the definition to gain citizenship. And given that we've seen an investigation in Minneapolis where they looked at 1,000 people and they found 500 engaged in immigration fraud, I think we need to look and see who was allowed to come into this country. And if they do not share our values and they were not honest, they need to be sent home. And I think that starts with Mamdani.
With what evidence? It sucks because the way that these guys talk now, it's bullshit. I can't say what I want to say because I'll get permabanned from every single platform. This is some Hamas level shit. This guy is inducing me to Fed post. How am I not supposed to Fed post after statements like that? What am I It's almost unfair.
Congressman, I want to talk more broadly about the Democrat.
Congressman?
Party and what this says about where they are right now. I actually believe if it weren't Zohran Mamdani here in New York, it would have just been somebody else. That they were primed to.
Yeah, if he didn't win, someone else could have won. Good job, dude. People are saying Nuremberg was a failure because there was a popular video essay arguing that recently. Oh, well, okay, based.
Put up a candidate like this here. You see they're doing it in other cities across the country as well, because that's where this party lives now, and that's where it's gone. And the loudest speakers in the room are the extreme left for the Democrat Party. And, you know, even to say, you know, I'm a Democrat socialist, that seems weird to me. It's almost like they've adopted a completely, I should say it's almost been hijacked. Their party's been hijacked by socialists, and that's where it's going.
You're absolutely right. Look, if you look at the radical left, they aren't socialists. They are communists. They want to take away private property. These people don't believe in America. We're not talking about the Democratic Party of 30 years ago,
No.
where Republicans wanted one thing, Democrats wanted another, but we all wanted to get to the same point. We're now dealing with people who hate the country and want to destroy it.
We also do want to point out, though, that even that Zohran Mamdani has lived here since the age of 7. So it's not like he just, showed up a few years ago. But I understand what you're saying.
Good fact check.
Because in order to become an American citizen, I just want to read the words because you referenced this, Congressman. You have to agree to uphold the U.S. Constitution, defend the country, and be loyal to the United States. And then this promises support to, and defend the Constitution and laws. This is the part against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we know from a lot of what he has said that those things he may not agree to. Is that something that you think could take?
Hold on. To be honest, there's nothing new here. These racist shitheads did the same thing to Italian immigrants, Irish immigrants, Eastern European immigrants, Jewish immigrants, Asian immigrants, every fucking shit they did. Okay, listen, I think it's still an unpopular take in my community, okay? But I will move you guys on this eventually, or you'll realize it, okay? This is not just racism. Racism is like, it overlaps with a lot of this, but the MAGA movement is way more xenophobic. It is a more fleshed out, like anti-immigrant, pro-U.S. identity type thing than just being racist. It's a way more, it's just a more all-encompassing thing. Whereas like before it would have just been, conservatives being racist against black and brown people and making jokes about rap music or whatever. But now it's like, these guys aren't one of us.
Take away potential citizenship, or does that ever happen?
Absolutely. I think someone who wouldn't say Hamas is a terrorist organization violates that oath. I think someone who says globalize the Intifada, calling for violence against Americans, is violating that oath. It is clear that many people who never should have been able to become citizens were able to. They somehow snuck through. We owe it to the...
Like, who the fuck are you? You type 2 diabetic fat fucking piece of shit to decide who becomes an American citizen. Who the fuck are you to say this?
The American people to go back, take a look, and the people who shouldn't be citizens to denaturalize and deport them. They were guests in this country. They made a promise to support it, and they don't appear to be doing that.
Yeah, they don't really believe fundamentally in the American or the America that has been set up to change it to something completely.
What does that even mean? What America do you believe in? What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Philosophy.
Yes,
right.
in our philosophy, our way of life. Congressman Randy Fine, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Good to see you.
And it's so weird and disgusting, too, because I guess I would have to dig into Mamdani's background more. But just from the little I know about him, Mamdani actually kind of, ironically enough, I would also say, Mehdi Hasan, these guys actually kind of sound like your idealized versions of Americans, right? I think Mehdi Hasan used to be on some crazy radical Islam shit. I'm pretty sure he's moderated a lot of his views. I think he's explicitly denounced a lot of them. They've come to the United States. They become successful individuals, sometimes making it in some of the largest, most difficult to make it cities in the world, participate actively in government. He was Mamdani city council or state assembly? I think it was city council, right? And is now mayor of New York City, won an election. Like, these are your shining American stories. And the idea that some loser DEI appointed fucking white fat piece of shit, Republican is saying, just guys saying you be a fucking citizen. Like, who the fuck are you to even say that? Fuck out of here, dude. Fuck out. Oh, is he Jewish? Oh, that would make more sense then. That's why he's so salty. I'm about to become the number one. I'm about to become the strongest
Violating that
anti-Semite. As I see more and more of these Ben Shapiro clips roll out. Oh my God. Whew. Mamdani hijab did him dirty. No way is this the height difference. Unironically, this might actually be the height difference. This dude is like 6'7". I don't even think I'm exaggerating. He's might be the tallest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Is it listed publicly? He's 6'6". He also claims that he's 6'7", not 6'6". Whatever, he's just fucking tall. That's a tall ass motherfucker.
By having on a Nazi, and in my own view, take your own view, in my own view, lost the Nazi, then I'm going to speak out about that, and I'm going to point out that there is a long pattern of him ideologically laundering terrible ideas over the course of the last 2 years, ranging from traveling to Russia to sniff the bread and explain why the Russian regime is actually wonderful, to saying last week that the Venezuelan regime of Nicolas Maduro is actually not that bad because they're being attacked by, in his words, globo homo.
Tucker's made the point, I'm not going to be Tucker's defender, but he's made the point that Maduro is culturally conservative.
Who gives a shit? The guy's a communist dictator. Everyone expects he's a good He's super faithful to the United States and to Americans. What do you give a shit whether he's anti-LGBTQ rights? This is the number one thing about Nicolas Maduro. You know how far down the list you have to get before you can get to anything remotely recommendable about Nicolas Maduro?
I did ask him yesterday.
Fuck, is this whole talk worth listening to? My cat loves when my girlfriend comes back from the gym. Maybe someone else at the gym has like a cat or a animal, maybe. What are your thoughts on your job debate? Felt like personal insults. You should have gone harder on. I feel like I've said this a million times. He said it was going to be cordial, so I didn't prepare any personal insults. I don't know anything about him personally, so.
Embraces its own fringes will end up in the same position as the left wing that has embraced
Okay, so that's
fringes.
why I want to get into it. Embrace.
A right wing that embraces its own fringes will end up in the same position as the left wing that has embraced
Okay, so that's
fringes.
why I want to get into it. Embraces.
Yes.
So now, having spoken to Tucker, I actually see that interview very differently. And I did listen to the interview, and I knew what Nick Fuentes was. And I think he did show himself to be who he is. It wasn't his most vile stuff, but you got the feel for what this guy was. But I really think Tucker was talking to him, Ben, to put like a bumper on this guy. Because what Tucker was urging him the whole time was to understand that collective punishment for any one group of people is wrong. It's deeply immoral, and it's anti-Christian, which this guy is supposed to be, and reminding him of how deeply immoral that is, that you should not be looking at a group of people, whomever it is. The left does it to everyone, whites mostly, but like this collective shame, white men in particular. And there's a group of people like Nick Fuentes that does it to groups of Jews. And he was making the case throughout the whole interview in the way that Tucker does. He's not like you or me. He's not like pointed and cross-examining.
That is not true.
And was making...
That is fundamentally untrue.
No,
Ask
no.
Senator Ted Cruz whether that is true.
He gave it to Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz is a politician.
That's, yeah.
Oh my God. I hope it hurts for Ben to have to do this, but because I have no sympathy for Ben here. I have no sympathy. Like, Ben, do you know what this conversation is? This conversation is I'm Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly is Ben Shapiro. That Ben Shapiro is me and Megyn Kelly's Ben. I think I said that right. This is the same conversation, just flipped. It's him making endless excuses for Trump because he's a partisan fuck hack. And now he's on the other side of it. And he's like, hold on, you can't really be this stupid. That's the difference. You think, what? There's no way, right? Now he's experiencing it. I would actually be Megyn Kelly #1 simp in the world if she were to say, well, I grade Fuentes on a curve because he's not a politician. He's young.
He gave it to Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz is a politician.
That's yeah. Well, hold up. So only politicians get cross-examined?
You don't. Well, look,
Truly?
it depends on the person.
Tucker would never cross-examine a person who is not a politician. That's his rule.
Tucker has excoriated public figures who purport to speak for us and represent us.
This is a public speaking thing. I've thought about practicing this skill. I should at least incorporate it into my, I guess, like arsenal or vernacular. It's so hard for me to do it. I go too far in the other direction. When I hear somebody say something, I want to engage with the conversation. So if somebody says a thing, I want to have a back and forth. There's this inhuman skill that so many speakers have. It happens a lot with people I talk to. Megyn Kelly just did it, where you just don't respond to anything they say at all. And you just say something that like you want to say and is really completely unresponsive to what just came before it.
Created.
Like,
Hold up. So only politicians get cross-examined?
You don't.
So only politicians get cross-examined. So the question is clearly, hold on, you're saying that he was mean to Ted Cruz, but not to Fuentes because Ted Cruz is a politician, Fuentes isn't? You think that Tucker Carlson's never gone hard on a non-politician? And then her response is,
Look,
Truly?
it depends on the person.
Tucker would never cross-examine a person who is not a politician. That's his rule?
Tucker has excoriated public figures who purport to speak for us and represent us for many years. Nick Fuentes is a podcaster civilian.
Okay, I just...
like, that was actually more responsive than I thought it was because she brought up the one I was saying here, but I still hate her, okay?
I have a question.
That wasn't a good example of what I was saying. Wipe the past 20 seconds from your mind. I should have let her finish her sentence. I just went full hutch there, okay?
We all in our industry...
But to on a separate note, though, to say that Fuentes is just a normal random person because he's not an elected politician is also really fucking stupid, considering he's had like political events where he stood alongside like other political figures. So.
Are constantly excoriating people who are in our industry. It happens all the time, every single day.
Okay.
Again,
but we're talking about his interviews.
We can agree to disagree on your interpretation of what Tucker was doing there. I think everybody should watch and determine for themselves what they think Tucker was doing in that interview. And I urge you to watch it back to back with the Ted Cruz interview to determine whether you think that was an aggressive Tucker Carlson interview. And you can judge for yourself.
I didn't say it was aggressive.
My opinion.
I didn't say it was aggressive, and I don't think he would say it was aggressive.
And I think
his point was...
You made it sound like Tucker was trying to prove that Nick Fuentes was not one of the conservative types, which sounds kind of like an aggressive interview, but I guess you think it wasn't aggressive, but Tucker Carlson was subtly doing this. Like, these are not, like, I hate that I'm even considering this. Like, this isn't a real argument. Like, I only watched a little bit of that. Maybe I'll watch the full thing. It seems like a dick suck fucking marathon. But, like, do you think the average person watching Tucker Carlson is going to come away thinking, like, man, that Fuentes guy sure is a real bad dude, real horrible guy?
This guy, first of all, he's become a behemoth, sadly. He's got 5 million viewers on Rumble. He's got 1 million followers on X.
I agree.
It's also crazy to listen to people speak things into existence. Fuentes is definitely gaining influence, especially not a lot of people are talking about it. Fuentes is nowhere near as big as people think that he is, but like his platforms are heavily botted. But then people speak some of these things into existence, like 5 million viewers on Rumble. He probably got like a couple thousand, right? Might be more like in the on the recent days, especially as he's getting mentioned by so many people and fighting with people. But to pretend that like all these numbers are real, but I guess like everybody bots to social media now, yeah.
He's got 5 million viewers on Rumble. He's got 1 million followers on X.
I agree.
This is all before Tucker Carlson. And he was platformed, I hate that verb, but he was platformed by Patrick Bet-David. And he went on Dave Smith's show, and he went on another big show. He's been getting more and more purchase in the
This is true now.
Political ecosphere, including right wing.
And I think that's
Patrick
bad.
Bet-David has a huge show. I know, but
Patrick
did you know that Patrick Bet-David had him on? Did his life blow up?
Patrick Bet-David did a significantly more aggressive interview with Nick Fuentes than Tucker did.
Okay, but my point is simply he's growing. He's growing in stature. And so what I saw Tucker do was not whitewash his ideas, but try to put bumpers up on the guy. I know Tucker well, and I think that was his approach. And the way, if you want to put a bumper up on Nick Fuentes, is it helpful to say, you're fucking vile, you're an anti-Semite?
Yes.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
That doesn't put a...
Yes,
no.
But they have no problem saying that about Democrats?
No, it isn't. That makes the audience feel good because...
Why is Megyn Kelly defending Nick? It's hard to say, and I don't know because I don't swim in conservative circles enough. It feels a little bit like, so one of the things I've been saying for the past few years is you're going to be in an awkward spot when MAGA goes away because your conservative movement is a cult right now, okay? And a lot of your leaders in the conservative movement don't have their own aura. It's on loan from Donald Trump. So Trump is not like a kingmaker. He's not appointing other people to kind of like serve in his stead after his legacy ends. Once Trump is gone, Trump doesn't give a fuck. He's out of here. He doesn't care at all. And so I think there's going to be this weird reshuffle as soon as conservatives realize, okay, the Trump shit is done. It might be midterms, maybe. Once they realize like the Trump shit is done and the MAGA shit doesn't matter anymore, it's going to be a bunch of reshuffling to figure out, well, who are new political leaders. I don't think it's going to be anybody in this admin. The Trump kids are all fucking losers. Except maybe Bannon. Barron. I don't know how young he is. He's like 12. I don't know how fucking old he is. But like the Eric and the other guy are fucking losers. So I don't know who's going to be the next like political leadership in the MAGA movement, or not the MAGA movement, in the new conservative party. So you got this weird fracturing that's kind of happening right now with Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. Personally, I want to say that it can't. That can't grow too much, that you're always going to have an upper limit on like insanely hateful movements like that. Although I just haven't consumed Fuentes' stuff recently. So it might be more chill than it was a few years ago when he was like on the hardcore griper shit. But it's also hard to predict because damn, conservatives have done so much shit now that I never would have expected them to do. So who the fuck knows? Oh, true. Marjorie Taylor Greene might be the one. If I had to, if somebody put a gun on my head and forced me to predict, Marjorie Taylor Greene would be my prediction for who to look out for. Because this is a person who does have political aura on their own, who has at times stood against the Trump administration. He's kind of sort of doing it now. And she's a monster fundraiser. She has a strong personality. She's relatively young. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene might be the one that's looking at, you know, the next phase maybe. But who knows? Maybe not.
You have hand-to-hand combat, but it doesn't help change that guy's view or his extremeness at all.
Okay, I'll tell you what doesn't change Nick Fuentes' view. Tucker Carlson with his arm around.
Wait. I feel the Republican fracture has happened so many times now over the past 10 years. It doesn't really seem to go anywhere. It just gets forgotten as with everything else. Not a real fracture. The fractures that you're thinking about are the fake bullshit ones that I think I usually call it as fake bullshit ones. There was only one time when it seemed like there was a legitimate fracture, and I would say the one legitimate fracture was January 6th, because that was the first time that some Republicans had left the party. But the big thing there, the thing that was really operating on the political level, was people were like, ooh, I don't know if Trump is going to run again, because he lost that election. Jan 6 looked really bad, and he had 4 years to the next one. He's pretty old. You know, I don't know. Will Trump actually run again? And there was this like, I think what I remember is this like 1 to 2 year period where it was like maybe, you know, DeSantis and these other people. But as soon as Trump came back, that was it. And yeah, like people pretend that like Epstein was a legitimate fracturing. I don't think so. Most of the stuff people just listen to Trump and follow him 100% on.
At all.
Or people think like the H-1B thing was a legitimate fracturing. No, that was Twitter shit.
That, but it doesn't help change that guy's view or his extremeness at all.
Okay, I'll tell you what doesn't change Nick Fuentes' view. Tucker Carlson with his arm around Nick Fuentes, grinning for the camera, while Nick Fuentes tweets out America first, and then triumphantly goes on the air the next day to explain that he has essentially used Tucker Carlson as a vehicle for manipulating other people. Okay, that's what Nick Fuentes is saying, not me. Nick Fuentes. Okay, and Nick Fuentes...
But you've been used as a vehicle for Trump and MAGA. Like, you're part of this. Like, you put the gun in their hands, my friend. Like, I don't know. Maybe he sees us. I don't know. I hate these people.
And by the way, I will, again, say that Tucker Carlson, when you say to some...
This is one of the reasons, too... Fuck. Can anybody find an article about the polling of Prop 50 when it first came out? I swear to God, it was like in the low 40 percentages. This is why I have so much respect for Gavin Newsom, okay? Because it's one thing to identify a popular issue and support it, like Trump does with foreign policy. Like, Trump supports Israel, one, because it's kind of popular voters, but I think mainly because it was an easy win, right? Trump is, Israel's never losing in the Middle East. Israel's there for good. All the leadership knows it in the Middle East, like everybody knows it, right? So of course he backs them. He doesn't back Ukraine, not for any strong ideological reason, but I think he doesn't back Ukraine because it's probably a hard fight, and to lose is embarrassing, and you don't want to lose. But you know, what do they say? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. For Newsom to stake out that Prop 50 position, it was already a brave thought that he was going to say, I'm going to counteract what they're doing, which Democrats don't normally do. We're usually like, oh yeah, right? Like, I'm going to do the redistricting thing, right? That was a big deal, and it was unpopular at first. So he knew he would have had to fight a political battle for it with all the stuff that entails, while also governing. Like, there was a lot of stuff that he had to take on to do that, and he won that fight. I have immense respect for people that are willing to wade into an arena where victory is not assured and then fight for what they believe in and then accomplish it. Losers like Ben Shapiro are people who are only treading water, floating with the waves and following the current. And it's such a low IQ, low human capital, loser, spineless hack fuck way to do politics, especially when you are part of these huge political organizations and media that could theoretically influence some of the conversation. And you abdicated that responsibility, your role to America as an idea, your role to the media, if you view yourself as a journalist. I think your role to your friends and family, to your fans, to the people that listen to you, you abdicated that to basically swallow Trump cum at a high enough velocity to shoot it out your asshole into the mouths of your fans as quickly as possible to make an extra buck or to have a little bit more influence. I just have no respect for people like that.
Again, say that Tucker Carlson, when you say to somebody in an interview, do you condemn anti-Semitism? And then the person says, sure, which is what Nick Fuentes said. He said, I'm not an anti-Semite, which is blatantly untrue.
Oh, shit. Did it start this low? Support for Prop 50 was at 33% August 5th, 36% by August 12th. So maybe averaged it at around 40% maybe-ish, maybe a little higher than that. And then, yeah, he did it. He carried it. I don't know what happened August 12th. Something happened, but good job.
Yeah.
A responsible journalist would then follow up, demonstrating that that is false. Tucker did not do that. He allowed him to get away, which is what Nick Fuentes said. He said, I'm not an anti-Semite, which is blatantly untrue.
Yeah.
A responsible journalist would then follow up, demonstrating that that is false. Tucker did not do that. He allowed him to get away with that, and then he allowed him to talk about, quote-unquote, organized Jewry, followed by Nick Fuentes being treated to a disquisition by Tucker Carlson about why Christian Zionists of all human beings on earth are the people that he hates the most.
He took that back.
You can't take that back. How do you take that back?
He did.
He took that back. Listen to this ghoul. Oh my God. Like this disgusting wench, went so fucking hard on Biden and the Dems on every single little fucking thing. But on her own side, well, he didn't mean that. He took it back. They're so soft. They're so kitty mode. They're like pit bulls when it comes to Democrats, and then they're the cutest little fluffy kitty bunnies when it comes to crazy shit on the other side. It's insane to me.
Took that back.
You can't take that back. How do you take that back?
He did.
I hope Ben wants to kill himself. I hope you're frustrated as fuck, because this is how I felt talking to Ben. Well, I think the guardrails will hold. Well, it's okay. Would Trump really do all the horrible, crazy fucking shit that he said he's going to do and he tried to do? Well, I think the guardrails held. It should be bad. I hope you feel the same fucking thing that I fucking felt when I was talking to you. I hope it feels bad.
How?
Because he
should explain why it was wrong. He should explain why Christian Zionists are actually wonderful people.
Tucker is very quick.
And, sorry, one more thing. You can see what I'm saying before in that these people are not stupid. These people are not stupid. These people are pretty intelligent. They know. Ben knows what should be done. What is the responsibility of a good journalist? How do you actually show that you don't approve of a message? How do you actually show contrition or a change of mind in something? It's not just saying I didn't mean that. LOL. Obviously, this is political maneuvering. He knows that, but she knows that. But now look, now they're having different conversations, right? She's having a politics conversation, and Ben Shapiro's trying to have an intellectual back and forth or whatever. Let's actually analyze this idea. Isn't this kind of bullshit? And she's just trying to play power politics, basically. Look at what she said when he had dinner with Trump.
And I are Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago.
Fuentes.
Milo Yiannopoulos was also reportedly there, but Nick Fuentes, we've covered him on this show before.
Yeah.
We've covered him on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
He is a Holocaust denier, though he says it with a laugh. Huh. He has been targeting Ben Shapiro for years, and I've covered that on my Twitter.
What?
And we're going to get into all of it. How did this guy wind up at Mar-a-Lago? It's absolutely disgusting that Nick Fuentes was at Mar-a-Lago. Period.
Wow.
Period. He shouldn't have been within 10 feet of the former president of the United States. It's deeply, deeply wrong. How did it happen? Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago.
She's just following the winds, right? So that was the winds. They blew in that direction back then. Trump disavowed Fuentes and everything else. And now the winds maybe are changing now. And so she's hedging.
And he should explain why it was wrong. He should explain why Christian Zionists are actually wonderful people.
Tucker is very quick to self-flagellate.
But you also, I'm sorry, fuck. It's just, you see the parallels one-to-one as well with the Hasan stuff and the shot caller stuff too, right? How do people change their mind on something? How do people deny something that's right in front of their eyes? Because at the end of the day, If you want to understand politics, it's all just clout sharking. You should just look at it as though everybody's a YouTuber, influencer, streamer. It's all the same fucking shit. It's all the same fucking shit.
You should explain why Christian Zionists are actually wonderful people.
Tucker is very quick to self-flagellate, and he went on with Dave Smith the next day, the next week, whatever, Monday, Tuesday this week, and said, that was stupid. I didn't mean that. He said, I'm angry at people like Lindsey Graham. I'm angry at people like Ted Cruz because he thinks they run headfirst in these conflicts and they don't think about what's going to happen to American kids.
Hold up. If we're talking about firing...
Do you think there are methods to de-incentivize this behavior, or is it always going to be min-max goal for influencers? I think there's one big thing that could change it, but this is unfortunately kind of like a pipe dream, and I don't think this would ever happen. Politics needs to be like separated from all the other arenas of our life. Politics has infected way too much of our lives. And one of the downsides to that is you get a whole bunch of people talking about it that have no business talking about it. Or you get a whole bunch of people paying attention to it that have no business having an opinion on it. And then what happens is I think that influences kind of your political directions, right? Like imagine if you had a country, imagine World War II Germany, and there were only 10,000 citizens. And imagine 200 of them followed politics closely, and you had a Nazi party and you had a communist party, and there was like split like 100-100. But then imagine there are like 5,000 people that play like Clash Royale, and all of a sudden, you started to get like people in the Nazi party talking more to Clash Royale people, and now all of those people are like super involved in politics, but not because they know anything about it, just because they kind of speak to the people in Clash Royale politics, and now they all support it. But do they really have any business supporting it? Do we really need Stephen A. Smith's takes on politics? Do we really need Joe Rogan to be one of the most important political kingmakers, kind of, at least in media in the United States? Is this actually a good state of affairs? Probably not. But you'd have to ask people to give back money, influence, power, fame, numbers, in order to go back to a world where maybe not as many people need to have the strongest opinion ever on political things. That would be, most people wouldn't want to do that are in it now, because you're just asking them to reduce the size of everything in their arena.
Head first in these conflicts, and they don't think about what's going to happen to American kids.
Hold up. If we're talking about firing inside the tent, everything Lindsey Graham, okay, and I'm not a huge Lindsey Graham fan. He votes with the President of the United States 100% of the time, and Tucker spent yesterday's show excoriating him as a psychosexual death worshiper. Does that sound like firing outside the tent? Again, these are the questions.
I'm not offended.
Again.
I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
The questions that I'm asking outside the tent, psychosexual death worshiper. Does that sound like firing outside the tent? Again, these are the questions.
I'm not offended.
Again, the questions that I'm asking here, I'm not asking you to do anything, Megan.
No, I know.
Okay,
I know.
I'm not.
Our beef is not with each other.
I'm not, okay? When I draw a line with regard to what I believe Tucker Carlson is doing to the conservative movement and what he is fomenting, that is because that is my info, and everyone can make their own decision.
Wait, what are YouTube people saying? Change our names. Does that include political streamers such as yourself, Destiny? Oh, you got me. Yep. You got me, dude. Yeah. Good one. You got me. Can you fix our name? Wait, what's wrong with the names? They look normal to me.
The conservative movement and what he is fomenting, that is because that is my info, and everyone can make their own decision as to whether they think that I am right or whether I am wrong, and where they choose to draw the line with regard to the conservative movement. The question for me is always whether somebody's statements are forwarding moral values that I think are worthwhile. I did not get into this business for the money or for the clicks. You didn't either.
Neither did he.
What was that?
Neither did he.
I mean, he may not have. That's fine. I certainly did not. The question for me is always whether somebody's statements are forwarding moral values that I think are worthwhile. I did not get into this business for the money or for the clicks. You didn't either.
Neither did he.
What was that?
Neither did he.
I mean,
is she talking about Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes?
He may not have. That's fine. I certainly did not. I'm only going to speak for myself. And what that means for me is that if I see somebody breach basic moral values by having on a Nazi, and in my own view, you can take your own view, in my own view, gloss the Nazi, then I'm going to speak out about that, and I'm going to point out that there is a long pattern of him ideologically laundering terrible ideas over the course of the last 2 years, ranging from traveling to Russia to sniff the bread and explain why the Russian regime is actually wonderful, to saying last week that the Venezuelan regime of Nicolas Maduro is actually not that bad because they're being attacked by, in his words, globo homo.
Tucker's made the point, I'm not going to here to be Tucker's defender, but he's made the point that Maduro is culturally conservative.
Who gives a shit? The guy's a communist dictator. Everyone in his country is eating dog. He's shipping fentanyl to the United States to kill Americans. Why do I give a shit whether he's anti-LGBTQ rights? This is the number one thing about Nicolas
No engagement.
Maduro. You know how far down the list you have to get before you can get to anything remotely recommendable about Nicolas Maduro?
I did ask him yesterday about the criticism that he didn't give Nick Fuentes a hard time, right? He didn't bring up the stuff that we've been talking about. No, he didn't. And here's what he said. It seemed to think that we've way overstated the number.
Oh, we got clips. Oh, he's getting clip ambushed. Oh, no.
Number of Jews killed in the Holocaust. He's ripped on poor Usha Vance in the most offensive terms, which I mean, so what do you say to those people? Say, why didn't you raise any of that?
Damn, I don't know if I can predict if I have the script for Carlson. This guy's way out there. Either one, something to do with like it's good to get ideas out there so we can challenge them. Like shouldn't we want to basically the marketplace of ideas argument? Or two, USA bad. The US has done worse. What do we think? One or two?
You know, do your own interview the way that you want to do it. You're not my editor. Buzz off.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. You want to go yell at Nick Fuentes? I'll give you his cell. Call him and go sit and yell at him and feel virtuous or whatever. That's up to you.
Okay.
I agree with him.
Wait, was this supposed to make Meghan look good? Or...
I agree with him. He did the interview that he wanted to do for a reason.
Here's the other thing I want to say.
Whoa.
We all have different approaches in this industry, you know, and there's been a lot that people in podcasting have said that I disagree with, including many of the names that we've discussed tonight.
And we disagree too. I mean, yes, of course.
But, I mean, yes, rarely, but sometimes we do. But my own personal approach, generally when it's someone who's
marketplace of
on
ideas.
what I consider to be my side, the side of sanity.
And this is the entire question, is whether I consider Tucker Carlson to be on my side.
I get it. But I would just say, just for the record, my own general approach, and this is my audience here, so they know, is in general, I will take on a position and I will make clear how I feel. For example, I've been asked, and some of my audience is mad at me for this, but what do you think happened to Charlie Kirk? And I believe a man named Tyler Robinson shot and killed Charlie Kirk. I believe.
Wait, what? How did we get here?
On what I consider to be my side, the side of sanity.
And this is the entire question, is whether I consider Tucker Carlson to be on my side.
I get it. But I would just say, just for the record, my own general approach, and this is my audience here, so they know, is in general, I will take on a position and I will make clear how I feel. For example, I've been asked, and some of my audience is mad at me for this, but what do you think happened to Charlie Kirk? And I believe a man named Tyler Robinson shot and killed Charlie Kirk. I believe he was influenced by trans Tifa, radical trans activists, that he fell in with a lunatic that goes by Lance Twiggs, that guy was extremely radical.
We don't know any of that. There's no evidence, by the way, for any of that whatsoever. She should be things I can't Fed post. But yeah.
And that he and possibly a band of others convinced this guy that violence was the answer. And I believe others knew about it before Charlie was killed. That's what I believe. And until you can show me cold, hard proof that it was something other than that, that's...
You have to prove that... So you get to have a default assumption that with no evidence, by the way, and then somebody has to prove otherwise? What?
That's what I'm going with, and I don't want to do or say anything that will jeopardize the FBI investigation.
You already have, you dumb bitch.
And prosecution of that guy to make sure he spends the rest of his life either behind bars or on the wrong end of a firing squad. But that's... So I feel like I can make these points without attacking people who generally are on my side in fighting...
What should her assumption be? As of this point in time, there is no strong evidence for any political ideology of the shooter. We have his history, which is he grew up as a fucking white Mormon dude in a pretty conservative state, but we don't really know much. My guess would be he probably leaned left, given that he had a trans/gay roommate or whatever the fuck that is. But in terms of being radicalized by any ideology, there's absolutely zero evidence anywhere for that at all. There was nothing that came from his Discord that looked radical at all. The text messages that came supposedly from his partner, none of those look radicalized. That person wasn't encouraging anything. Nothing radical has come from his partner. There's no evidence of any political radicalization one way or another at all for this person.
Without attacking people who generally are on my side in fighting the deranged leftists who are killing us.
But my point is, so 2 points. One, you have to define your side. You do. There are limits to the
All
side.
the people who don't want to kill others based on their political ideology.
Do you see Turkey Time's video on the trans roommate? No. Oh, unless more stuff came out about the roommate, I would have to see. But there was nothing in the text messages in the indictment that made the roommate look like they seemed shocked that the guy had killed Charlie.
Define your side. You do. There are limits to the
All
side.
the people who don't want to kill others based on their political ideology.
So I would agree with that, except for the fact that, as you showed, Nick Fuentes wants to kill others based on their political
He's not
ideology.
on my side. He's not with me.
My point is that Tucker treated him as though he was on his side.
Apparently there were messages that got leaked to Turkey Tom, and it's in his video. Wait, what? Link me. It's all unverified, but he says he has a source. His mom said he was a lefty. Yeah, but his mom is also a MAGA, so she's fucking retarded. Lefty to his mom could literally mean a fucking never Trump conservative. I don't think it was like that.
I'd like to start this video by saying that
47 minutes, bros. You're gonna have to give me a timestamp.
I see it differently. I think he did an exploratory interview where there was a possible attempt to put a bumper up on this guy.
I think that we don't have to go over ground that we've already covered. We can agree to disagree on that, and everyone can make up their own mind after going and watching the interview yourself.
Let's be blunt. Gold is up around 40%.
Good one. What was that event even? I think this was in Florida. It was in Jacksonville. I think it released logs in the description. Okay. I might look at it later. I still have to do my... We can't do news for 12 hours today. I got to do my abortion prep. Oh, paste. Kings.
When you say you believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by someone close to him, what do you mean?
I think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of financial reports that are coming out. And I, first and foremost, do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I want to be very clear on that. Whether he was involved, I think the answer is yes. I think that's obvious.
And your basis for saying he didn't act alone is what?
I don't know, maybe the weird Fed messages that were concocted out of thin air that had no timestamp and were written like they were speaking in 1822, among other things. Their lack of an ability to answer any basic questions about what took place.
But do you have any proof
So no
that
evidence.
the messages were made up? Because that would be easily proven.
Yeah, but they didn't put timestamps on them, and Discord came out and said they didn't exist.
This was supposedly text messages, not Discord messages. It's my understanding from the indictment.
Yikes.
I actually did not read that they were text messages.
The indictment calls them text messages.
What would it be like the feds are like on a computer, like typing it out back and
That's
forth?
exactly what it is. The feds made up the text messages.
But you don't have anyone from like the FBI telling you that, or law
I have
enforcement?
leaks.
Okay.
No.
Has anyone leaked?
I noticed this talking thing more. Maybe people have always done this. I just haven't paid attention to it enough because I know Lauren De Laguna does this. Taylor Lorenz did it a ton in my convo. This like half truth thing, like they're lying, right? Did somebody leak this to you? I have leaks. That wasn't the question, right?
By telling you that, or law
I have
enforcement?
leaks.
Okay.
No.
Has anyone leaked to you?
And Tyler Robinson has.
But has anyone said to you, even off the record, like, yeah, we...
Actually, fuck. This makes me think also she's not actually schizophrenic. It is intentional. Because I think if she was having delusions, I don't think she would lie in such a tactical way. I think this is like an intellectualized conspiracy theorist, not like a schizo person, an actual...
To you, even off the record, like, yeah, we faked these.
I have very strong sources everywhere on both sides.
Okay.
Well, I look forward to seeing the evidence of that.
You won't.
Sure. Because when we keep talking about evidence, it's like, who's going to present that evidence? Like the mainstream media? Like who are you expecting to come
That would be a
out?
hot story.
No, it wouldn't be.
It would be.
It wouldn't be.
If the FBI, like if I had a source telling me.
I like that nobody believes this because nobody knows anything about how media works. But like, if you had that story, you would rush to publish that story. That would be an insanely sensational story. Like everybody would want to publish that if you could verify it.
Like if I had proof that the FBI faked those messages, that would be an enormous story.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we live in a post-Epstein world and we know how stories get shut down.
Oh, okay.
like America.
What is this? Oh boy.
Like America or Israel more, you don't answer the question. You don't want to answer the question. This is going to make any American suspicious of you. Any patriotic, nationalistic American will be suspicious of that. I am suspicious of that. I find that to be extremely problematic. I'm not speaking for other people.
Wait, has Ben not answered that question before? Has somebody asked Ben, do you care more about Israel or America? And he's not answered? I genuinely don't know.
I'm speaking for myself. I don't like that. I don't want anybody who doesn't think America is the greatest country in the world with no reservations to be giving me advice on American politics. I don't know why. Why is this so hard?
How many YouTube watchers of Asmongold's content has he converted? His algo was goated pre-politics. I don't know if it still is, but holy fuck. Yeah, he's probably converted a ton. He's probably one of the most influential online people. It's pretty sad. It's insane to me that he gets posted in fucking the H3H3 subreddit, and the people there will like half simp for him with like yeah, sometimes he's got some bad takes on things, but you know, when he's covering this stuff, you know, he's pretty, it's like, oh my god, seriously? Really? Maybe that was just a couple threads. Maybe they don't normally. I don't know. Jesus.
To then say that I wanted his children to die in a foreign war.
What the fuck?
Okay, so those are different.
That's a rhetorical.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that Tucker is following a logical chain of actions where if you are advocating for America defending Israel, like I mean, it's a simple question. Would Ben Shapiro want, you know, if Israel was attacked, would he ever want American troops to go over to Israel? And if the answer to that is yes, then I think Tucker's accusation is correct.
What if you want stuff to go over to, like, Ukraine? How do you even begin to evaluate that? Wait, what?
Theoretically, hypothetically.
No, it is not. I'm sorry, it's not. An attack on motivation is a very different thing from an attack on an idea.
His point was that you were sounding like a neocon, and he's upset with anybody who wants us to get too involved in Israel's conflict because he feels it endangers American children.
Okay, the idea that, number one, the idea that I want the United States to be directly involved in Israel's conflict is not true.
No, I know that.
I've been urging Israel to get off American aid for literally as long as I have been active in politics.
Stop making clear what his point was.
But my point is that that's not his point. And again, none of this.
So we disagree.
We disagree on.
So this is it's an inversion of the way that Americans see this. So you're seeing this as Israel getting away from America's aid, whereas I think a lot of Americans, such as myself, see it as us getting away from aiding Israel. And so there's even an inversion of the way that the problem is even perceived. And I'm speaking generally from my own perspective, but that's the way that I see it.
The interpretation of what Tucker has been doing for the past 2 years. And it's very difficult for me to believe that Tucker is merely anti-Israel when, for example, today, in his newsletter, I mean, I can directly quote it if you like, in his newsletter today, he claimed that Zoran Mamdani is not anti-Semitic. This was his newsletter today, this morning. I mean, I'm happy to read the text. It's a little extraordinary because, again, it is...
Is there something that Zoran has done that is explicitly anti-Semitic? And I ask this as a genuine question because I haven't seen anything that he said or done that has been genuinely anti-Semitic. He said he wouldn't... Yeah, where is it?
It is kind of shocking stuff. So here's what Tucker Carlson wrote in his newsletter today, or what his newsletter says under his name. He said, is the incoming mayor a fan of Israel? Does he want America to fight its wars? Not particularly. But a Jew hater? That's a different conversation. We've never seen anything to suggest he falls into that ugly camp. If we're talking about fighting the left, defending Zoran Mamdani, who literally said that Hamas, he has no opinion whether Hamas should disarm, who posed...
He shouldn't. He shouldn't have an opinion. He's the mayor of one city. He shouldn't be giving his takes on international politics, period. Why is the mayor of New York City giving his takes on international affairs at all?
Okay. Asmongold, very special guy.
People know Iraq and Afghanistan, but then you had the Syrian civil war, then you had the war in Yemen, then you had the civil war in Sudan, you had this war in Somalia, in the regime change in Libya.
So it's really not, it's not a presidential agenda. The agenda's already there. The president just fulfills it.
Yeah, but he can, but his job is to stop it. You know, it's in the interest of America to stop it because this is not good for America. Like, because they're saying the president's policy is let's make Israel independent from the United States. That's not good for the United States. And this is going to sound like, you know, counterintuitive, but you know, you could look it up. Last summer, all the Jews got to, this sounds dumb the way I'm saying it, but look up Tablet Magazine. It's a Jewish paper. In July 20...
Considered relatively right-leaning, I believe, Tablet, right?
2023, they did a symposium on foreign aid to Israel. And you know, so all their contributors wrote, you know, for or against, whether we should get rid of it or not get rid of it.
My understanding, I'm curious what he'll say here. or I'll test, I guess, my understanding. My understanding is a lot of the more far-right Zionist people actually don't like receiving aid from the United States because they can probably do it on their own. And I think the feeling is generally that when they get aid from the U.S., they view the U.S. as more of a constraining figure than if they could just act on their own and not have to give a fuck about how the U.S. wants to cuck them in their grander plans. I think this is for more far-right people, I believe. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll say the opposite.
And the guy's name is Siegel. He's like a prominent neocon. His dad's a big neocon, and they're connected to everybody. And the main article says we need to get rid of foreign aid to Israel, but not for the reason that you think. We all thought we were based for being against foreign aid to Israel, and for obvious reasons. We need to spend the tax dollars here. True. But what Siegel, I think his name's Jacob Siegel, his dad's Fred Siegel. What Jacob Siegel argues is, no, we need to get rid of the foreign aid to Israel because it's acting as golden handcuffs. They're saying that as America, as the left becomes more anti-Israel and the left is hegemonic, the United States will use the aid that they give to Israel to leverage Israel and restrain Israel. He said, so we need to get rid of the foreign aid so that we could be completely independent and we could do whatever we want, and the United States can't control us. So the most militant Zionists are now actually arguing against the foreign aid. And that's why, by the way, when Matt Walsh at Daily Wire says we shouldn't send foreign aid to Israel, and Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro say, oh, well, you don't get
I'm
fired
based because I don't believe in foreign aid. I'm so based.
Exactly. And Shapiro and Boring say, oh, see, we allow a rebuttal. We allow the different opinion on our show. Yeah, that's because that actually helps them. They don't want the foreign aid because some of these like so-called revisionist Zionists, Jewish maximalists, they want to get rid of the foreign aid so they have the freedom of action. And J.D. Vance, look into him. He runs a hedge fund. He was with Peter Thiel. The guy's like a Straussian. J.D. Vance says we need to arm Israel so that they can conduct an independent foreign policy. We need to arm them so that they can confront Iran. So this is the policy. And the policy is to make Israel independent of us. But we want these countries, it's actually, ironically, America first, to make these countries dependent on us. Same thing, this is going to sound counterintuitive. I don't support the war in Ukraine, but it is indisputable that the war in Ukraine has made Europe more dependent on the United States. And it is bad for Europe. It is very bad for Europe. It is lethal for Germany. Germany will never recover from the economic damage of Nord Stream 1 being destroyed by the United States because they need the cheap energy for their...
Okay. How was this a recent? I know this is post October 31st. Was this recent? This is an older thing. Why is Zerka still on these spaces? Jesus. Did you ban the wrong guy? Wait, what? Why do you keep saying this?
Foreign affair. Justice Gorsuch.
Oh, this was part of the arguments we didn't listen to. So much I just like Joe Manchin. What the fuck are we even talking about here? What was this even about? I spent the past decade of my professional media career urging the Dems to advocate for immigrants and counter message against the hysterical and violent white nativist anti-immigrant agenda on the right. I've confronted Dems to the okay. What? I don't trust any animal videos now because I feel like these ones are getting AI'd the most, okay? Fuck you guys.
That and I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right? We have to codify it. And people say, well, they're just going to be messing bills and pass Senate. We got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it. President Trump today gave to the Senate when they came over for breakfast. Even Lindsey Graham, some of the guys that liked, and some of these institutions, I understand. This is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement that not in a million years, because I talked to him today, quite frankly, I had Hawley on the show this morning, Josh Hawley, and he's talking about it, and I'm trying to play the institution. Well, they called me up this afternoon and said, let's go through the 10 reasons we need to do it. And these are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, limited government constitutionalist in our movement. And they're about to come out over the next couple of days and make this argument because it said, look, we have to understand that if we don't take this to the maximum, a maximalist strategy now with a sense of urgency, and in doing this, seize the institutions, if we don't do that now, we're going to lose this chance forever because you're never going to have another Trump, right? You're just not going to have it.
Wow.
And I will.
What a great guy. $50-year mortgage. 50-year mortgage. How much would that even decrease your monthly payment by? Would it even be that noticeable? The difference between a 50-year mortgage or a 30-year and like a 15 is not as great, I think, as some people would think. My Google Pixel 10 came. Damn, these things in the back are sticking out. Base model? No, it's like the Pixel 10 XL thing, right? It better be. Fuck, I need to get the screen protector thing for it. Give me a 500-year mortgage. True. I'm recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad healthcare provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people so that they can purchase their own much better healthcare. From what? The same money-sucking insurance companies? And have money left over. In other words, take from the big bad insurance companies, give it to the people, and terminate per dollar spent the worst healthcare anywhere in the world, Obamacare. What in the fuck is he talking about? Okay. He wants to make public HSAs. He's talked about it before. Yeah, but by the time you work out the details on all these, you're just basically recreating insurance companies again now. I mean, Destiny won't even acknowledge that Nick is becoming a real problem, just hand waves it away as all botted, then stares at useless Trump tweets and dog videos. This movement is lost. What? I think Fuentes is a real problem. I don't think he's becoming. I think he's already a real problem for the right. But that's not my problem to deal with. That's the right's problem to deal with. What the fuck would I help those fucking losers? They can get eaten all day by, consumed by their own fucking Nazism. The focus on the left should not be fighting fucking Nick fucking Fuentes. It should be building up the left-wing movement. Let the right eat itself. Fuck them. That's not your shit to focus on. Fuck that. What is... Wow, President Trump has backed the Democrats to a corner of defending big insurance now that he has proposed just giving the money to the people directly. Chuck Schumer doesn't know how to respond to this. Major health insurance company stock performance after Obamacare. I tried to look at these. Now, I made a bit of an extrapolation. And I could be maybe wrong. But, like, is there a bigger... Oh, wait, does SPY track the S&P 500 for longer? So this goes back to... He said from March 2010 to November 2025. So this only goes back to September 10th, but I'm sure if I go back, it's a little lower. The S&P 500 has gained 506.10%. Like, on average, and I don't think... These don't even include dividends, right? SPY is the same... Because I think my VU pays out dividends, right? So this is 506.10%. I don't know if these stocks pay dividends or not. That already puts it ahead of two of these. I'm pretty sure if I could go back 6 or 7 months, I might be able to get even more. I'm pretty sure the S&P 500 has outperformed at least half of the stocks listed here, if not Cigna and Molina too. I'm not sure about those two, but like these four, like what the fuck was the point of posting? It's so fucking stupid. What do you think is going to happen if Fuentes takes over the GOP and beats Democrats? I don't know, motherfucker. I got blue eyes. I don't give a fuck. I would look sick as fuck in my Hugo Boss outfits. All right? I've watched Inglourious Basterds 20 times. I'll just cut the movie off halfway. I'm ready to go, Chief.